Here we go. Happy Thursday, Chicago Bears fans. I am Harrison Graham. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. We are live here on YouTube. Lots to discuss here on a Thursday as we're just 3 days away from Bears-Packers. Doesn't feel like a Bears-Packers week because there's been so much other chaos surrounding this football team. But we will get into this matchup today, among other things. Injury updates from Halas Hall. Jaquan Brisker placed on IR, so get the nines in the chat for Kwani B because I'm pretty concerned about the future of his career. But lots to get into, and a lot of you guys are already doing it. The FGB's coming out. Cullen, you boldly proclaimed that the Bears would sweep the Packers this year. Is there a chance that the OC switch gives this team the spark they need?
Is there a chance? Of course, there's always a chance. We'll see if it happens, though. I will say I'm going to be making my prediction this Sunday whenever we go live. We might be even going live.
You're going to wait till Sunday? I respect it.
I'm going to wait because ultimately I want to, not think with my heart, think with my head, be, as real as I possibly can with people that watch Bears Now. So, listen, I think there's a chance. How big of a chance?
I will say this, Colin. If they made no changes, there'd be 0% chance. There's at least a greater than 0 chance now because we see it all the time, right? Like usually it's like an interim head coach that like you get a little boost in their first game. Obviously that's not quite the case here, but you would hope rivalry game, 3 losses in a row, new OC stepping in, that this team will just come out and play a little more inspired. I do think, and we'll get to this in my preview later, that I think getting ahead early is vital, which this team has not been good at. Actually, I don't think this team's done it once all year, taking the first lead, which is kind of amazing. But you just do get the feeling that if they get down 7, 10-0 early, they could just be like, yeah, we're done. So I do think a fast start is paramount if they want to have a chance. A lot of FGBs, Blue Dan, Brian, we got Johnny, Trump, AQ, V Herms, Prometheus, Oliver, Tavares, Alex, and a whole lot more. So get the FGBs in the chat. We got Noah. Something tells me this Sunday will be a blowout. Well, if it's a blowout, Colin, I think we know which way it's going. Although I did say last week that there's only 3 potential outcomes: a Bears blowout, a Bears close win, or a Patriots close win. And we got a Patriots blowout. So could the opposite happen this week? I'd be shocked. But if you ask me, this game's a blowout, which side do you think it goes? I'd have to go with the Packers blowout the Bears, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I mean, this offense is giving you no indication that they can blow anybody out, much less stay in the game with, elite offenses, which I'm not even saying the Packers is an elite offense, but here's what I'll say. If, like you said, if the Bears win, it will be close. It'll be nail-biting. It'll probably be because they get out early and they, jump on them, and maybe Jordan Love has one of his days where he has multiple turnovers and everything, but hey, there's always a chance. That's why any given Sunday's a phrase, and we're going to be here for it one way or another.
Yeah, and listen, if they win, we're going to be partying. If they lose, the Fire Floose petition will continue. So that's probably going to continue regardless. But that's. Here,
I don't know if I'm on. There we go. If they win by 50 on Sunday, I'm still Fire Floose.
I'm Fire Floose promote Thomas Brown
yes.
if they win by 50 on Sunday.
100%.
Jeez. John T., I think you're being satirical there, but we'll see. We'll get to those super chats in a second. We're not doing a full mailbag episode today, but we will still take some questions, so fire those super chats in. We'll get to those. We do have to tell you about our sponsor, Prize Picks, Daily Fantasy Made Easy. A lot of sporting events you can get in on the action: football, basketball, hockey. You can get in on the Tyson Paul fight as well. Lots of things to set lineups with and lots of deals available depending on the event. You could turn $10 into $1,000 with as few as 4 correct picks on an entry, which is awesome. I've got this little 2-player entry for Sunday. I got to think DJ Moore's got to be pretty motivated. We're going to get to Xavier McKinney talking trash to him a little bit later on. Jordan Love has 10 interceptions despite missing a couple games, so I like the more on him at least throwing one there, which is a goblin pick, which lowers your payout a little bit, but it's easier to hit. 2 to 6 player lineups. Choose more, choose less, Prize Picks, and the deal you can get is at prizepicks.com/CLNS. The code CLNS gets you a $50 bonus when you play for just $5. So check out Prize Picks today. Link is in the live chat, as is that promo code. All right, we got John T. Travis Bagent just told me wild stuff. Stay tuned. I'm all ears, John T. And yes, we will get to that wild rumor in a little bit. I don't know what to believe at this point, so it's all very fascinating. Sam Lactera, if the Bears could acquire Josh Dobbs by Sunday, I wouldn't rule out a lopsided Bears win. I love it, Sam. The commitment to the bit is all we can do these days. So let's get Josh on board.
I will say, yeah. I mean, he's a Josh Dobbs truther. You know, whatever you want to call him. I mean, he is ride or die with this guy.
No one enjoyed Josh Dobbs' Linsanity run last year more than Sam Lactera. And the Bears were the one who ended that Linsanity run, believe it or not.
Yeah, I remember that.
Picked them off 4 times in one of the worst primetime games I've ever watched. Can't remember if it was Thursday or Monday.
I believe it was a Monday night. I think
the Bears won 12-10.
Yep.
Justin Fields fumbled twice in the fourth quarter, but did hit a big throw to DJ Moore late in the game to put him in field goal range to win it. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. Rock and roll with us. Let us know. Let us know. We got M Steps in Lexington, Matt Eberflus in Lake Forest. I think Matt Eberflus is just the old Matt Nagy guy. I think it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen Matt Nagy.
It's crazy. You know, I haven't really seen Rolly's neck beard, but I've seen Cullen's neck beard a lot ever since I took over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Funny how that works.
Coincidence, some might say?
Crane says Salt Lake City. Jacob in Bloomington. We got Markel in H-Town. Newark from Jose. Is that South Padre Island, Peyton? We got my guy Sam in Southern Illinois. Orlando is where RC's watching. I'm the real Matt Eberflus. Did those 13 yards matter, the real Matt Eberflus? Yes or no? Have you changed your mind? John Ramsey says hi from Davenport, Iowa. What's up, John? We got Joseph in Fayetteville. Robert Ratcliffe in Palm Coast, Florida. The Nodge in Daytona Beach, Florida. Wasim in Irvine, California. Some Chi-Towns in there as well, including from Tavares. The Nodge in Daytona Beach. Annalisa in South Africa. What's up? We're global, baby. Matt Eberflus says, they don't matter. # complimentary football. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, predict the score, Bears-Packers. And go vote on our live poll, by the way. The live poll is this. Do the Bears have a chance to beat the Packers? No, hell no, and yes are the 3 options. 22% say no. 46% say hell no. 32% say yes. So a third of you guys are still holding out hope. Still holding out hope. You'll get my prediction later on. That's all I'll say. 36-6 from This Is Chuck. Wasim says 38-9 Packers. I still do wonder, Colin, if a blowout happens, like is a Flus firing midseason still on the table? No. I know they've never done it, but
no.
You don't think so?
Absolutely.
What if they get blown out the next 3 weeks, with the third one being in Detroit on Thanksgiving, and then you'd have a little extra time? You would have lost by then 6 in a row out of the bye week. You would be 4-8.
That could happen.
0-3 in the division.
That could happen with them losing on another Hail Mary and Eberflus getting a camera shot of him eating a turkey leg while the play is happening. And I still don't think it would happen. I honestly just think that they are just so set in their ways of just, again, Poles clearly now is dug in with Eberflus. I mean, they're intertwined now. And if they would have done it, this 3-game stretch that we just had would have been the final nail in the coffin. Yes, could it get worse? I just don't see.
Oh, it could with this schedule coming up.
It could, 100%. I'm not denying that. But I just don't see them making this move. I really don't.
I really want to know if Poles has the authority to fire him. And if he
fair.
does and he hasn't, that's a major red flag. And I've been a Poles defender, but I don't know. What's the spread? Do you know, Cullen?
6.5.
6.5
to GB.
Before the Waldron change, I loved the Packers. I still like Green Bay at that number, I'll be honest. So a little teaser on my prediction coming up. But, yeah, we'll
Let me
see.
ask you this. Just a hypothetical question. If the Bears lose every single game for the rest of the year, but they sweep the Packers, does it make a semi-successful season in your mind?
No, but it makes a bad season at least. You got something out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's honestly might be the best case scenario because you sweep the Packers and Flus gets fired probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the best case scenario, I guess, is still making the playoffs. But if your team please get Flus out of here, then that would be a decent way of doing it. Lucas praying, I'd consider the game a win if Caleb throws a touchdown, has more than 50% completion, takes less than 4 sacks, bar is so low. Yeah, I mean, look, he's got to stop taking sacks. We'll kind of get into some of the changes I think Thomas Brown can make that are actually realistic ones. And I think one of them is encouraging Caleb to be more of a playmaker. And I don't know if this is coaching Cullen or if it's him just trying to prove to himself and everyone else that he can win in the pocket. And we've seen him have success in winning the pocket, but like it's almost gotten stubborn where like he just won't even look to escape anymore. And it's like that's part of your game is being special and doing some of that stuff. Like I'm not making the comparison, but like you watch guys like Lamar, Allen, Mahomes early in their career, like a lot of their big plays is just running around and making big throws downfield. Like it wasn't just sitting in the pocket and dicing teams up. Like it takes time to do that consistently at the NFL level. So I think if I'm Thomas Brown, and he kind of hinted at this in his presser, like encourage him to go be who he is and be a playmaker. If it's not there, it's okay. Take off, go scramble, get out of the pocket, keep plays alive. Like I'd rather you do that, try to extend a play and either A, throw it away, B, scramble, or C, ultimately hit somebody than just take a sack because way too many sacks have been happening recently. Some his fault, some not, but definitely some his fault.
100%. And I think that is, you nailed it right on the head. Him playing just freely will be the best thing that, regardless of outcome, that Bears fans could probably hope for the Sunday. And Thomas Brown's given every indication that he's trying to lean Caleb Williams into that direction, back to more of his comfortability. I mean, I just remember the Patriots game, Harry, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw a lot of Caleb evading in the pocket, really just to try to continue to extend the play as if almost like running wasn't an option. Like it was a lot of just...
Yeah, I mean, that second play of the game, they tried to set up a shot play, and, he could have come back to his check down swift, but nothing else was really there. So in that spot, it's either take the check down or get out of there and extend the play. Like there was no reason to take a sack there. Like he had it more than 3 seconds. So like that's a QB sack. So yeah, I think you got to get the sack numbers way down. Noah, who's worse, McCaskey or Reinsdorf? They're both pretty bad. I mean, that's hard to pick. It's been a tough stretch for Reinsdorf, but I don't know. I guess it depends on which teams you're bigger fans of. For me, it's the Bears, so I guess I'd have to say McCaskey. But I mean, the White Sox and Bulls right now they leave a lot to be desired. So
all of the above.
Yeah, that's fair too. RC Gaming, appreciate the $1. Appreciate all the super chats coming in here. Again, we will continue to answer those throughout the show. Hit that like button. Got 500 people watching. Like this video if you're ready to roll. We got a lot to get into here on today's show. Only 48 likes, so less than 10% of you guys have liked the video.
What's up with that, man?
It's a low number, man.
It's a very low number.
I know it's tough times these days, but man, that's tough. That's indicative of where the Bears are at right now.
If you want the Bears to fire Matt Eberflus, like the video.
Yes. If you want Caleb Williams to play well this week, like the video. All right, here's what we got coming up live on Bears Now, the latest Bears news and rumors, including a wild rumor that has made the rounds today, starting from Reddit. So that's going to be interesting. What Thomas Brown can do. What can Brown do for you? And then Bears-Packers. Can the Bears pull off a stunner? I do think it would be stunning if they won this game despite being at home. But we're going to get into all that coming up here on Chicago Bears now. So hit that like button. Continue to fire away with your questions if you got them. We'll answer those throughout the show. And let's dive in here on Chicago Bears now. There's a wild rumor out there surrounding the Bears quarterbacks. We're going to dive into that. Also, this Green Bay Packer called out this Chicago Bear ahead of Bears-Packers on Sunday. I give my take. And we got the updated injury reports for Thursday on both of these squads. So lots to dive into here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. And listen, I'm going to make a deal with you guys. Typically, for a noon game, we go live an hour and 15 minutes early, 10:45. Well, if we reach 108,000 subscribers before Sunday, let's say before 9 a.m. on Sunday, 2:33 away, not a crazy number, we'll go live at 10:30. We'll do a full hour and a half pregame show getting you ready for Bears-Packers. So let's make it happen. 108,000 subs before 9 o'clock on Sunday. Colin and I are going to rock with you guys for a full 90 minutes, and then, of course, throughout the entire game. All right, let's address this wild Bears rumor let's kind of rewind a little bit first. The report earlier this week from Sylvie, a.k.a. Mark Silverman, ESPN 1000, is that veteran players, I think he said a few veteran players, want Bagent to start. Players since then have completely dismissed that, from Cole Kmet to Tyler Scott to others. They have dismissed that report. I saw Shane Rorden of ESPN or of 670 The Score, also said he's heard from multiple sources that that's not true. I think Brad Biggs also shut down the report as well. So Sylvie's kind of been on an island here, but he's had plenty of scoops before. And then this new rumor today is that Tyson Bagent's dad leaked that story to Sylvie. So let's kind of set the scene here. This is from Reddit user Roll of Duct Tape. God, you got to love the internet. Since Bagent has been here, his dad has created unnecessary drama, leaking nonsense to ESPN radio personalities who are not journalists. He did it last year, same deal. Players wanted Bagent over Fields. Getsy wanted Bagent over Fields. Those were the two leaks from last year, and he's done it again this year. This time, Sylvie was sloppy and unintentionally revealed his source was Bagent's dad. The day before his tweet, he said Bagent's dad had interesting things to say, but didn't share it immediately. Then he tweeted the news everyone blamed DJ Moore for. First of all, this is wild. Imagine if this is, or just the thought of this being true. The backup quarterback, who is an undrafted free agent from last year, his dad, 2 years in a row, leaking stories to a media member to report on that Caleb Williams or that Tyson Bagent is the preferred quarterback within the locker room. That's a pretty wild rumor and pretty on brand for how chaotic this team can get sometimes. He continues with this. He added a little edit at the end of the post. He says, edit. For all the arm wrestling sub guys, Bagent's dad's an arm wrestler, posting and asserting that this is speculation, you are correct. The source of the rumor pointing out that he spoke to Bagent's dad the day before the rumor is circumstantial. I have no proof, but I do find it odd that rumors are later proven false, have dropped for 2 straight years now, and the rumors tend to benefit one player, Bagent. Let me just say this, just kind of reacting to all this. I have no idea if this is fully true, partially true, not true at all. Not true at all would seem the most likely, but who knows? Maybe there's some small piece of truth to it. I don't know. Again, just a wild rumor. And listen, I will say some of these things that get leaked online, that they end up having some truth to them. A lot of them are complete bogus. We know that. I will say this, and Sylvie about an hour ago addressed this on ESPN 1000. He strongly dismissed this. He said the source he uses, he would only go public with it unless he was 1,000% sure it was true. Now, could he have gotten burned? Who knows? He addressed the Bagent dad speculation directly. He said he ran into Tyson's dad before, I think, the last game, and they talked briefly, and the one thing he asked him was, hey, what do you think of Shane Waldron? And Bagent's dad said he loves him. And that was it. He said he's tried to get him on the show before. He did not want to, including last year. So he basically said he's had very little communication. And then he on top of that said, I would never use a player's parent as a source for a story I was reporting on. He pointed to his 26-year career, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Players have denied it. Other reporters have said that the report that players have gone to upper management, Eberflus, etc., wanting Bagent to start isn't true. Who knows what's true at this point? I think the point is that this team is reeling right now. It's chaotic times right now, and they need to get Caleb Williams on track, which is why they ultimately fired Shane Waldron, hoping that Thomas Brown could provide a spark. But, man, it's one of the more wilder rumors I can remember, and I've covered some weird ones since I've started this YouTube channel. Do you believe this rumor at all? B for believe, D for don't. It doesn't have to be black or white. Like, if you think it's partially true, type B. If you think there's nothing true about it, type D for don't. I don't really know what to believe, to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to stand up here and act like Sylvie hasn't had a great career, because he has. So I think a lot of things could happen. Maybe he got burned by a source. Maybe it was an anonymous source to him that had some connection to Bagent's dad. I don't know. But I do think it's getting weird right now, and I do think a good Caleb Williams performance, win or loss this week, would go a long way in just calming things down a little bit. All right, let's talk a little rivalry beef as DJ Moore was called out by Packers safety Xavier McKinney, who did not mince words when talking about the Bears wide receiver. We'll get to that here in just a few moments. But first, I want to tell you guys about our sponsor, Prize Picks. Do you want to turn $10 into $1,000 right now? You can do that with as few as 4 correct picks on a single entry with Prize Picks right now. Prize Picks has 10 million users and counting in North America, available in more than 30 states, where you can play daily fantasy sports all the time. Multiple lineups per day, crossover sports with your picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. They're going to give you a $50 bonus once you just play for $5. So it doesn't matter if you hit your first entry. As long as you play for $5, you'll get an additional $50. If you win your first entry, even better. But it's awesome. Prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. If you're a new-time customer, you'll get that $50 bonus. A little entry I've got this week is this. DJ Moore. More on his receiving yards. Got to think he's going to be motivated here. Jordan Love, I took more for him to throw at least 1 interception. He's thrown 10 already this year despite missing a couple games, so he should give the Bears some opportunities here. Check it out today. Link is in the comments and in the description. Daily Fantasy made easy. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS to get that $50 bonus once you play for just $5. All right, Xavier McKinney had this to say about DJ Moore. This dude walked out on his quarterback. I don't think I've ever seen that. You're supposed to be the guy, and you're just walking off the field. This is in reference to what happened a couple weeks ago. You're walking off the field on a rookie quarterback. DJ, Flus, they all came out and said he rolled his ankle on that play, and since he had already stepped out of bounds, he was ineligible anyway, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, it wasn't a great look, but I think there's some truth to what DJ's saying. But this is classic rivalry talk, right? Xavier McKinney stirring shit up, and now it's up to DJ Moore to go out there and put out a good performance, because let's face it, he hasn't been that good this year. Now, I'm not saying it's all his fault. Him and Caleb certainly missed plenty of throws going his way. I don't think the Bears have necessarily used DJ Moore to the best of his abilities. They've mostly just tried to make him a pure X receiver, which I don't think he is that. He can line up as the X, but he's a guy you should move around. I just think it's up to DJ to just get this back on track. I still think DJ is a great player. I think he's a guy who's going to help this team for years to come. But there's been a disconnect with him and Caleb Williams. I thought he, excuse me, did the smart thing when he spoke to the media on Wednesday and put support behind Caleb. Whether he was forced to do that, I don't know. It seemed genuine, but there's been a disconnect here. And you got to get these guys on the same page, because DJ's 27 years old, just signed a big contract. You just drafted Caleb Williams. Like, this is a core part of your offense. So having this stir and stew and continue to go in this direction is not good. So going out there and getting these two on the same page starting immediately this Sunday would be a very, very good thing. I'm going to set the over-under, more or less, Prize Pick style, at 75 yards for DJ Moore. Type O for over or U for under. How many yards will DJ Moore have this Sunday? All right, some tough news. Jaquan Brisker to IR, and the longer this has gone on, the more I thought he may not return this season, and I think that's basically where we're at. Now, technically, he could just miss the next 4 games and return, what would that be, week 15? It feels like his season is over. He's been in the concussion protocol for like 40 days now. He hasn't played since week 5. I just feel for the guy, man. He's had at least 3 concussions in the NFL. He had at least 1 at Penn State. And he can't clear the protocol. Like, is his career in jeopardy? I don't know. I mean, it's very concerning. I think the smart thing to do at this point is to just shut him down for the year, which I think this is kind of what they're doing. We'll see what Flus says on Friday. Man, talk about a blow, not just for the team, but obviously for him. I mean, this is a guy who was having a career year to start this year, eligible for an extension after this year, which he will not get at this point, which sucks for him and is unfair, but you can't extend him if you're the Bears right now. You don't know what his career looks like. He's got 1 year left in his rookie contract. I think you shut him down this year, try to get him back next year. I hope he can stay healthy. The good news is Elijah Hicks has played pretty well, so you've got him under contract for a couple more years as well, but man, just a bummer for him because I'm a big Kwani B fan, and I think they've missed his leadership on the field, not just his play, but his leadership these last several weeks, which have been losses other than the Week 6 game that he missed. Elsewhere on the injury report, Karan Amagaji, Tevin Jenkins did not practice. The Jenkins one certainly notable. If he is out, I would imagine that Ryan Bates would start at left guard, Pryor at right guard. Assuming Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright both play, they're limited, so maybe that's a reach, assuming that. But seems like they're trending up. Montez Sweat returned to practice today, so that was good. Darrell Taylor's practice as well. He didn't play last week. Tarvarius Moore limited. He's in the concussion protocol. Noah Sewell limited with the knee injury as well. The Packers injury report, they got a lot of guys who did not practice today. I got to read this off my computer here. Jair Alexander limited, certainly one to watch at corner. Kenny Clark limited, that's a big one as well. Kingsley Enagbare, he practiced in full. Josh Jacobs limited with a quad. He's been limited the last 2 days. I would imagine he plays. Elton Jenkins, just a rest day today. We got Marshawn Lloyd, who's in his practice window to return. We'll see if he gets activated. He was limited. Jordan Love, full go. Jordan Morgan, limited. Josh Myers, limited. Rasheed Walker, 3 more offensive linemen, limited. Evan Williams, limited. And then Colby Wooden did not practice with a shoulder injury. So those are the injury updates. Our thoughts go out to Kwani B. Get the 9s going down in the comment section below for Jaquan Brisker. We hope he gets better sooner rather than later. All right, my name is Harrison Graham. Thanks to everybody for tuning in to this edition for Chicago Bears Now. We got more coverage between now and kickoff on Sunday, so hit that subscribe button and rock with us here on the channel. The Nodge is next up here. Shout Woo Pig Suey for Ricky Stromberg. Yeah, I like that pickup. Is Trace out there? Trace!
He should be out there. Trace!
If Trace is in the bullpen, get in here.
We need a Woo Pig Suey from your
brother.
Look
at this. Our resident Arkansas alum. Pig Suey! Let's go. Ricky Stromberg took a top 30 visit out of Arkansas a couple years ago. Went to Washington, didn't work out there, had some injuries, and now is on the Bears practice squad. Not sure if there's going to be much of an impact this year, but look, maybe you find something here. Now, I want to just upgrade center in the offseason, but maybe he's a guy who can be your backup or something like that. So we'll see where it goes. The Nodge says awesome in the chat. So we got you, Nodge. We got you. John T., source told me Team Vets want Tyler Scott over DJ Moore. You're not benching DJ Moore. Now, if you want to reduce Keenan Allen snaps and give Tyler Scott more looks, Cullen, that is something you could top me into.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've kind of mentioned it here recently on the show, and to be honest, it still goes back to the training camp notes that we were hearing that the deep ball was flowing, that he would be potentially not ever going to break the top 3 of Keenan, Rome, and DJ, obviously, but be a part of this offense. And To be honest, he's just been nothing. Like, he hasn't really produced on the field really since, the last preseason game was the most
he's not even
thing?
playing. He's been active most weeks, but, I guess he's playing a little on special teams. But I can't think of a single play this year, Cullen, where I've been like, oh, Tyler Scott's in the game.
Yep.
Not one.
That's what I'm
sure there have been, but I can't think of one.
That's what I'm saying. The last memorable moment that I can remember is the preseason game against the Chiefs, where he had the catch down the sideline, and he had, I think, almost 100 yards that game. But again, against backups, whatever. But, yeah, just non-factor.
Yeah, I just think, too, this offense feels stagnant and quite frankly, slow at times. That's a guy who gives you speed, even if, he's just a decoy where you run clear-out routes with him and free up some underneath guys. I would certainly be open to that. So, all right, we'll see where that goes. Is that all the supers for now? Okay. All right, we'll get to our next segment here. If you guys want to fire in some more questions, we will work those in. But coming up next, what can Thomas Brown do to jumpstart this Bears offense? We will dive into that next here on Chicago Bears Now. Coming up, I'm going to reset there, Cullen. Sorry for the live audience here. Coming up, Thomas Brown takes over for Shane Waldron. How can he jumpstart this offense? What's actually realistic? Because you're not going to just create a new playbook. Well, I got 5 things that I think are actually tangible that you could really change immediately if you wanted to, if you're Thomas Brown. So we're going to dive into that here on Chicago Bears Now. And listen, let's spread the word of this video. Hit the share icon, select X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, the X button, and tag me in the post at HGramNFL. I will not only retweet everybody who does that, but I will follow you back as well. A little follow for follow action. Share the video, select X, tag me in the post, which shares this video, and everybody who does that will get a follow back on Twitter. Okay, what could Thomas Brown do? Number one, and I quite frankly think this is the most important, I think you got to free Caleb up as a player. Now, I'm not saying he had been coached to never look to leave the pocket, that he had been coached to stay in there and, hold the ball until something frees up. I'm not trying to, take blame away from Caleb Williams. He's taken too many sacks, some his fault, some not, but 9 sacks in a game, 9 aren't going to be on the offensive line. It's going to be a mixture, and I can already think of a few off the top of my head that were completely on him. And Thomas Brown kind of alluded to this in his presser. He was like, listen, key downs, key spots especially, go be a playmaker. That's part of what makes him a special talent. So I think that's got to be encouraged. I hope Thomas sat him down. I know they had a conversation on Tuesday and just said, hey, listen, man, we believe in you. We think you're the guy, and we're going to encourage you to go be you. You don't always have to sit in the pocket. I almost feel like Caleb is just trying to prove to the world he can win in the pocket, and he has proven at times he can. Recently, not so much. Obviously, you're not going to be able to bail on every pocket, but pick your spots. You don't like what you see a lane where you can take off and scramble or go throw on the run, keep a play alive. You got to reduce the sacks, and you got to keep plays alive. So hopefully that's being encouraged, and hopefully Caleb does that and builds that confidence back up, because it feels like, even though he wouldn't admit it, confidence could be a little shaky right now. All right, number 2, more Rome, less Keenan. I think this is pretty simple. I think most of us can get on board with this idea. I am not saying Keenan Allen can't have a role. I am not saying he can't help this team. What I am saying is Rome Odunze and DJ Moore need to be your top 2 receivers. So when you're in 12 personnel or any formation that has just 2 receivers in the game, it needs to be Rome and DJ more often than not. Because when it's 12 personnel and Keenan's one of the guys, well, he's stuck as an outside receiver, and he just doesn't win in those spots, especially down the field, very often anymore. He needs to be your slot guy that takes advantage of slot corners, safeties, etc., wins those short area quickness routes, and produces that way. To me, Keenan Allen should be a really good role player in this offense now. Rome and DJ should be your big playmakers. That's what this should look like moving forward. You look at the numbers, even though it feels like they've been trying to get Keenan more featured recently, he's not even at 10 yards a catch. And I know DJ's kind of the same as well, but we know he's a big play ability guy. He averaged over 14 yards a catch last year. Rome was proving he can be a big playmaker in terms of the yards per catch in the NFL. He's got to be one of your top two guys. Keenan Allen is not winning downfield. He's just not. Anytime they've tried to throw vertical to him, other than like the goal line fade against Jacksonville to the left corner, like even that back shoulder one up the seam, like Caleb threw him open. Like he was covered and he threw it to a spot where only Keenan could get it. So he's just not winning downfield. He's slow. And that's okay. He could still win short area quickness. He could be your number 3. He should not be one of your top 2 guys moving forward. It should be Rome. It should be DJ. Those should be your top 2 receivers. What say you? Should the Bears reduce Keenan Allen's role? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. I think it should be a clear yes. And by the way, part of that reduction should be Cole Kmet should get some of those targets too. Like he's a guy that you're not using nearly often enough. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring Chicago Bears. Now you can make money by playing Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. 2 to 6 player lineups. Daily fantasy made easy, where you can win up to 100 times your money with as few as 4 correct picks, depending on the type of plays available. So check that out. Football, basketball, hockey, soccer, fighting sports, esports, tons available. And you can cross over your sports within your entries. You could have a 6-player lineup of a football player, a basketball player, a hockey player, a fighter, a soccer player, and an esport athlete. Seriously, you can do that if you want to, because all you do is choose more or less based on the stat projections available from Prize Picks, just like I did here. DJ Moore, I'm going to bank on him this game. More than 42.5 yards against the Packers. Jordan Love, I'm going to think that he's going to throw at least 1 interception. So I took more than half an interception. Little goblin play there, easier to hit, which isn't surprising because Jordan Love's thrown a lot of picks this year. 5 to win just under $15. And if you're a new customer, if you play for just $5, you're going to get a $50 bonus when you use our code CLNS when you sign up at prizepicks.com/CLNS. So what are you waiting for? Get started with Prize Picks, available in more than 30 states. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get started today. Speaking of receivers, move DJ Moore around. I think they just have tried to make him the X receiver, and I'm not saying they haven't moved him at all. Like we saw the play last week where they motion him, try to get him in the flat. Keenan decides he doesn't want to block anybody. He gets blown up. But I'm not even talking about plays behind the line of scrimmage. I'm just saying play him in the slot, play him on the outside some, put him in motion more, get him touches, not just in gadgety ways, but like he's not a boundary receiver for 90% of snaps type of guy. He's a 5'11 receiver that's an average to above average route runner. He's not your typical X receiver. Rome Odunze's play style is that. Now, Rome can move around too, but he's 6'2", 6'3", can win on the outside with route running. He can catch contested balls. In theory, they haven't given him that many chances this year. But DJ Moore, the best part about his game, he's like a flanker receiver. He is a yak machine. Where's it gone? Last year, he had 539 yards after the catch, 11th in the NFL in a bad passing offense. He doesn't even have 400 total receiving yards this year. It just has not been the same. And I think part of it is the quarterback and him haven't been on the same page. But part of it is they've tried to just make him win with route running. And that's really what they've asked all their receivers to do, which I think is why they're making a quarterback change is, hey, the offense has been DJ, go win. Keenan, go win. Rome, go win. And they haven't won consistently enough. So you got to create conflict for the defense, which we're going to get to in a second. But moving DJ and more around, asking him to do different things within the offense and not just be a stagnant outside receiver is going to help him out, and it's going to help the offense out. So to me, I think Rome should be the primary X. The beauty of these 3 receivers is they can all move around, although I think Keenan's kind of just a slot guy at this point. DJ can be the Z. And oh, by the way, in this receiver discussion, I think Tyler Scott needs some snaps. I'm not saying you give him 30% of the snaps. Can he get 10 to 15 snaps a game, though? Like, can you find that available? This offense needs some speed in it, and Tyler Scott is just sitting over there. Like, why not play him every once in a while? I'm hoping that Thomas Brown gives him some opportunities. Subscribe to the channel. We got videos all year long here on Bears Now. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. We're bringing you videos every single day. Most days we have 2 videos. We go live 3 times per week, every Monday, Thursday, and game day. Monday and Thursday at 4 o'clock Central. Game days over an hour before kickoff, sometimes an hour 15, hour 30 this week potentially if we reach 108,000 subscribers before Sunday. So hit that sub button, turn on notifications. We're rocking with you every single day. All right, number 4, condense the formations. And I was listening to Hogan Johns. They do a great job, longtime Bears podcast. They've covered this team for a while. They had Nate Tice on, who, if you guys who have subscribed to this channel for a while, I had him on at the NFL Combine when we were out there back in February. He's the son of former Vikings head coach and Bears offensive coordinator Mike Tice. Played quarterback in college, knows all these offenses, the verbiage. He does really well. I would encourage you guys to go listen to what he was saying. But he kind of made a point that Sean McVay offenses, like disciples of his, a big part of that offense is running a lot of condensed tight formations. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of spreading your receivers way out, they're closer to the linemen from a horizontal standpoint to start the play. And then that gives you more room to run these routes. You can create conflicts with rub routes and all this different stuff. And when the Bears hired Shane Waldron, like, oh, this is McVay tree. Well, Next Gen Stats, which courtesy of them via Nate Tice here on that podcast, Rams dead last in formation width, meaning everything's condensed basically. Vikings second lowest, a lot of condensed formations. Falcons, Zach Robinson, McVay guy, by the way, O'Connell, McVay guy with Minnesota. Falcons 28th. Bears 8th. That's not the McVay offense. Like, now maybe some of it is because, hey, Caleb came from this air raid, spread it out offense. Let's marry some of what he's good at with the McVay offense. Okay, fine. Well, can it be 15th? Why is it 8th? Why is everything spread out with stagnant routes? And I thought Tice made a good point too, where a lot of these routes are like outbreaking routes. Well, you're already spread out and you're doing stuff to the sideline. There's no room. So you've got to torch the guy defending you, and the throw has to be perfectly timed and on target just to have a chance to be completed. Because you're already spread out, you're asking your receivers without any kind of conflict, not a lot of motion, to just beat their guy to the sideline, and you got to get the throw out and perfectly on time consistently. Caleb's done some of that, but that's asking a lot from a rookie quarterback. So why condense the formations, Harrison? Again, you have more room for these receivers, tight ends to operate after the snap. There's more ground to cover because if you're closer together, well, you got all this space for the rest of the field post-snap. You can run crossers, more mesh, run routes. You can run bunch trips where the defenders, especially if it's in a man defense situation, they got to make quick decisions. They got to figure out where their guy is going. So I think you got to put these defenses you're playing in conflict. And it should create just quicker decisions for Caleb, too, being able to identify which guy springs loose in a lot of these situations. So, again, saying all this stuff doesn't mean it's going to look better, but these are tangible things you can change this week preparing for Sunday that should be implemented immediately. So I'm hoping we see that. And then lastly, and this should just be obvious, like stay with the run. Commit to running the football. You don't have to bail on the run because you're down 7-0. Like, some of these splits this year are kind of alarming. Look at the Bears plays breakdown this year. So the first category is passes, like attempts, QB runs, which most of those are scrambles from Caleb. He's run 40 times this year. I would say less than 10 were designed runs, but even if it's 10, okay, if you want to put that in the handoffs category or a straight run category, that's only 214 to 362. And then sacked, which is obviously a designed pass, that's 65% of your offense almost. A pass, your QB scrambling or taking a sack, a.k.a. all pass plays. You've only handed it off 35% of the time. That's just way too jarring of a split for any team, much less a team with a rookie quarterback. And I get in some of these games you've been down, but like the Colts game, for example, 52 passes, you were never out of that game. You could have stayed with the run. And the Bears should be a team that's trying to run the ball 45% of the time or more. Now, to run the ball more than 50% of the time, that's pretty difficult because that means you're just dominating. You're playing with a lead, and so late in the game you're running the ball. I get that. But 35.5% of the time, like the bad teams in the league shouldn't be that low. The team's constantly playing from behind. The Bears are 4-5. Like they've won some games. And in that 3-game stretch when Caleb was balling, against the Rams, 23 pass attempts. Against the Jags, 29. I can't remember the exact number for the Panthers game, but he was below 30 in all 3 of those. Like, it's just way too many pass attempts in a lot of these games. But during that stretch when he played well, you were way more balanced. So you got to get balanced. Stay committed to the run. Don't bail on it. If it's not working to perfection early, take pressure off the quarterback. Like, that's what all this stuff should do. Make it easier on your rookie quarterback. So I think these are tangible things. Thomas Brown can do it immediately. One more, which we'll see if they do. I'll just kind of verbally mention it here, is do you scale back how much you're asking him to do at the line of scrimmage? He's setting all the protections with the offensive line. None of the other rookie quarterbacks are doing that, by the way. I think that's of note. So I think long-term, that helps him. But in the short term, do you scale that back a little bit? I think that could be a good idea. We'll see if they do that. But that aside, these are all things that you can control. Like just using personnel differently with receivers, different formations. Like that stuff's got to be in the playbook. Like it's not like that's new stuff. I mean, McVay was a guy Waldron was under. So we'll see if Thomas Brown does some of this stuff, and I hope he does because I think it could help. All right, will the Bears' offense improve? Type B if you think it'll get better. Type W if it'll get worse. If it gets worse, I mean, can it get worse than 3 points against the Patriots? That would be pretty shocking. But let us know what you guys think. B for better or W for worse. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham, sub for Bears Dubs. Big game on Sunday against the Packers. FGB. Phone is getting lit up here. Okay, nothing important. All right.
The fact that we're getting bots on non-game days is pretty crazy.
I'm guessing that's the Thursday Night Football impact, but still. Yeah. Unreal. Tedros. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely true. He says, according to QB School, this offense actually has good schemes. It's not the playbook, it's the players and play calls. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously good stuff in there. We've seen things work. I just think, especially the last few weeks, there's just been a lot of straight drop back with very little play action, not much motion. It's a lot of calling, hey, our receiver's better than your corner, let's just go win. And that just hasn't happened a lot. And when it has happened, the protection is broken down. Or when it's been clean, Caleb's missed the throw or he's not seeing it. So I think there's a lot of blame to go around. But I just think doing some of the things that I just mentioned there will just give you more. Caleb said it the other day, like, hopefully we can get more layups into the passing game. Like, it doesn't feel like there's been many layups recently.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, even if you thought going into the year that the Bears had the best I'm not saying you did this, but the Bears had the best wide receiver group.
I thought it was one of the best.
No, I'm saying, but like whatever verbiage you want to use.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you automatically just get to assume that any given Sunday you just get to go walk in and they're going to be better than the opposing DBs that, again, could scheme different things to confuse you. They could present different matchups, whatever it may be. Like, you still have to put in the work offensively as a coordinator to make things easier on them. Because ultimately, if you're asking, like you said, players to win consistently, one-on-one, be the better person on the route, win jump balls, whatever the case may be, I mean, that's hard for any player. I don't care how great you are, if you're Jerry Rice, DJ Moore, whomever. Like, it's not sustainable. And the fact that Shane Waldron consistently, it really just seemed like a lot of times, too, like, not only was he not putting him in advantageous positions, but he was also putting him in positions that hindered them. I mean, how many times have we said this season, the Bears receivers are all in the same vicinity when Caleb makes a throw, like near the sideline.
Dude, they ran one last week where it was just it was like
a double go route.
Yes, they were right next to each other.
Yep. And trust me, as a Seahawks fan, I saw that plenty of times in Seattle. It's part of Shane Waldron's identity. That was not by accident. He truly believes, like, hey, you just throw it in the general vicinity and your receivers go win one-on-one. And again, that's just not a sustainable offense, and a reason that he got fired as an offensive coordinator for the 9 games.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, and Bears fans should be frustrated with that. And I'm not going to act like I'm the expert on Thomas Brown. I'm willing to bet that we're not going to see as many just clutter route concepts this Sunday. That's just my biggest thing.
Well, that's another reason to run condensed formations at the line of scrimmage, because then they're close to each other initially, but then you just have them all go to different spots. Like run a drag route, run an out off of that, run a backside post. Like I don't know. There's just too much when you watch this passing offense where you're like, there's no separation between these guys.
This thing in here sometimes isn't on mute, but I mean, you mentioned it during the cut just now. DeAndre Swift has been your most consistent offensive player for the last month or something like that.
Yeah, really since week 4, I'd say.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that he's not getting the bulk of the work and consistently getting left out of the offense.
I also think, give Roschon some touches.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Swift is probably not a guy you're going to give 30 carries to, but give him 20 and give Roschon 8 or 10. Like, that's only 30 runs. Like, it's not some crazy number. Brick says, how's the family? How are you outside the office? We care. Good. Thank you for asking. Gearing up for the holidays. Should be my son is about 19 months now, so it's a good age for holidays coming up, Santa and all that stuff. So can't wait for that, and thank you for asking. It's been a good time. All right, Paleo. I honestly think the Bears score at least one touchdown, just the fact that Waldron's gone. I feel like they are excited and fired up with Brown. Yeah, I do think you'll see them come out with more energy. Is that going to lead to some crazy performance? I don't know, but I tend to agree. I do think they'll find the end zone at least once this week. You're going to need more than that to have a chance to win this game. You're going to need at least 2 touchdowns plus some field goals. You're going to have to get into the 20s, I would think, to win this game. So,
no doubt.
2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, that's 20 points. Can you get that? And is that enough to win? Maybe.
I just want you, just envision it. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. The absolute electricity. If Thomas Brown, his first drive as the Bears OC, leads a touchdown.
Oh, we're going to celebrate.
Oh,
hasn't happened all year.
Oh, my God, it'd be nuts.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's – I wouldn't even know how to react.
I honestly wouldn't even be shocked. That would actually be the most Bears thing ever, to come out, get up, score opening drive, get up 7-0, and then just lose 24-14 or something like that. Tedros, to be clear, I'm not pro benching Caleb, but at what point is preservation of his health part of the conversation? You can't develop with the torn ACL, concussion, etc. He's getting killed back there. Obviously if he suffered an injury, but I just don't think we're there yet. Let's see. Ask me in 2 weeks. I don't think you do anything. You make any drastic decision right now, because really probably 3 weeks, because you have 3 games in 12 days. You got the Packers this Sunday. You've got the Vikings the next Sunday, and then the Lions on Thanksgiving. I think if we get through these next 3 games, Colin, they lose all 3, and he's just getting killed and he's not improving, and you want to make the argument to sit him for a week or 2 and just let him rest and get another vantage point, and then, maybe he sits that 1 game after the Lions game, and then he finishes the season. I could hear that conversation at that point. I'm just not there right now. I want to see what this looks like with Thomas Brown. I want to see if he can work his way out of this, because that's the NFL. You're going to have to work through hard times. No time like learning on the fly what adversity looks like in this league. So we'll see how he responds. We'll see how his teammates respond. We'll see how Thomas Brown puts these guys in position to hopefully have some success.
I will say this. I do not trust this coaching staff, even with Thomas Brown, to potentially save Caleb Williams from himself. That image of him keeping Caleb Williams in the game after, the Cardinals game, where he's banged up and he's still just kind of dragging it out there, and you're screaming at the TV. Get him out of there.
There's just no reason. And then Flus goes up there and says, we're working on our 2-minute drill. Flus. They're playing prevent. Their backups are in. No one's even, there's no effort. Like there's no value to these reps. Like I agree in general, he needs to keep playing for reps alone, but not with 2 minutes left, down 20, and your line can't protect. Like, it's kind of like the Doug Kramer decision. It's like, yeah, I'm all for that handoff. Not down 5 in the fourth quarter when he's never touched the ball before. Like, there's a time and a place, and this team doesn't seem to know when that time or place is. So, I hear you, Tedros. Chicago Joe, I'm 72. Any chance I'll see another Bears Super Bowl win? I hope so. I hope you're with us a long time, Chicago Joe. 72 watching YouTube. Look at you, Mr. Millennial. Thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. I think there's a small chance, but I do understand the hesitation because there's a lot of things wrong with this organization. John T. McKinney made a good point on DJ. We paid you $90 million, bro. Yeah, listen, I've gone back and forth on the DJ thing. The effort's got to be better. Period. End of story. I'm not saying he doesn't have a right to be frustrated. I'm not saying, we should criticize every little look of body language, all this stuff. But the point is, we paid this guy to be a top-end number one receiver, and he hasn't been that. Are they using him properly? I don't think completely. Is he playing to the best of his ability? I don't think so. Is the quarterback doing his part to get him the ball when he should? I don't think so. So there's a lot of blame to go around. But you're the vet. You've been in the league. Like you gotta elevate. Like you gotta elevate above that. So we'll see. I think I'm predicting he responds with a nice performance this week. So see how it goes. Panda, is Caleb on track to take more sacks than Fields? I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. The problem is Fields never played 17 games. So it's hard to compare and contrast. I think the stat I saw is he has the most sacks through 10 games or 9 games since David Carr with the Texans. That is not good.
No.
That is not good.
Let me just...
The most sacks Fields took was 55 in 2022.
Yep.
Played 15 games.
Yeah.
Caleb's on track to top that. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's
which is not
sacks.
good.
Yeah.
Which is not good. Mr. Cubs, so when DJ was laughing with Keenan about not listening to coaches on Hard Knocks, I thought he was joking. Not sure he was joking anymore. I'm trying to remember. Laughing with Keenan about not listening to coaches. Do you remember what episode that was?
I do remember that. Hold on. I'm
not sure I remember that.
No, I do remember. Yeah,
was it early or late in the season?
I'm pretty sure it was one of the first episodes.
Like straight up not listening, or
it was kind of like more joking, like
half-hearted.
Yeah, like a more just. I'd have to look it up. I do vaguely remember what he's talking about, and I remember we did a video on it.
I'm gonna look this up. Wait, I talked about it on the show?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I'm almost positive.
Okay, I'm going to look back after the live show and try to find this because I'm not remembering that for some reason.
I just, again, maybe I'm misremembering. My memory comes and goes, but I'm almost positive you vaguely talking about DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, how the chemistry is kind of coming together. They were also talking about Caleb Williams at one point, kind of teasing him, and again, it's like stuck in my head, but I can't quite pinpoint it. So
okay,
maybe.
All right. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm saying I'm just not remembering. So, all right, last segment. So if you have any more questions, fire away. We'll get to those after this one. And next segment is a little Bears-Packers preview. So let's get into it. Get the FGBs in the chat. FGB, FGB, FGB. Because coming up next, can the Bears upset the Packers despite the chaos, despite not beating them since 2018? We're going to do a full preview next here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, I'm Harrison Graham. We got our Week 11 preview episode here as the Bears host the Packers at Soldier Field this Sunday, 12 o'clock Central Time is kickoff. Over-under set for 40.5. The point spread is 6.5-point favorites for Green Bay. So Vegas is basically saying 23-17, 24-18, somewhere in that range. So we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll get to who has the edge, how the Bears can pull off the upset coming up here in a minute. But this injury report was from Thursday for both teams as Karan Amagaji, Tevin Jenkins did not practice. We'll see how that looks on Friday. Obviously, Jaquan Brisker has been placed on IR. He's in the concussion protocol. Mercedes Lewis, just a rest day there. The key ones to me are Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright. Can your two tackles play? I think you need them out there to have a chance to hold up in this game. Montez Sweat trending up. I think he'll be able to play this week as well. The notable ones for the Packers, Jair Alexander limited with a knee injury. Keep an eye on that one. Kenny Clark limited with the toe as well. Elton Jenkins just a rest day, so nothing serious there. Josh Jacobs should be fine. He's limited with the quad. And then we'll see if rookie running back Marshawn Lloyd, college teammate of Caleb Williams, gets activated off short-term IR. His practice window has been opened. He was limited with an ankle and hamstring injury. All right, who has the edge? Head coach, come on. Does anything need to be said? Matt LaFleur is a far superior coach than Matt Eberflus. We all know that. Doesn't mean you can't beat him on any given Sunday, but that's really all that needs to be said there. Quarterback, it's Packers, at least up to this point. Jordan Love, who's not having a great year, to be honest, but you would still give him the edge over Caleb Williams, especially at this exact time, just with how Caleb has played recently. Love is expected to play. He's been a full participant at practice this week. Skill group, I think you got to go Packers. Josh Jacobs has been an awesome running back this year. Their young receivers, on paper, they may not have a talent of a DJ Moore or even a career of a Keenan Allen or even an upside of a Rome Odunze, but Jaden Reed's been fantastic. Romeo Doubs, Tucker Kraft at tight end has been terrific. Maybe this really ties more into the coaching. They're just getting more out of these guys, but I think you'd have to give them the edge at this point in time. And then offensive line, I know they have a couple guys nicked up, but clearly Green Bay's is better than Chicago's. I mean, I don't even think that is a discussion. So across the board, offensively and coaching, you'd have to give Green Bay the edge. So you're behind the 8 ball here. Subscribe and join us for our Bears-Packers watch party this Sunday, 10:45 a.m. Central Time. However, if we get to 108,000 subscribers, which we're about 200 away, we will move that up to 10:30. So ball's in your court. If you want us to go live for a full hour and a half before kickoff, hit that subscribe button and join us this Sunday. All right, who has the edge? Defense. Defensive line, I'll go push. If Andrew Billings was playing, I would give the Bears the slight edge, but with him on IR, I think the Packers' interior defensive line is better. I think the Bears have some better depth, especially at edge across the board, but I think you got to go push here. I don't think the Bears are over the finish line in this spot. Linebacker, I'll go Bears. Quay Walker's not having a great year. Obviously, we've talked about TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds not being great this year. They're still solid players, though, so I'll give the Bears the edge in this spot. I do think the Bears secondary, when you look at all position groups among these two teams, is better than Green Bay's. Obviously, Jair Alexander's a good player. Xavier McKinney's played awesome this year, but I'll still give the Bears the advantage here. Elijah Hicks has played well in Jaquan Brisker's absence. Need Tyreek Stevenson to have a good game in this game. I think he's an X factor in this game. If he can hold up on the opposite side of Jalen Johnson, who's been dominant, that'll go a long way. And then special teams, I'll go push. I think Keyshawn Nixon's the better returner, but DeAndre Carter's been pretty solid, and I think the Bears are slightly better in the kicking game from both a kicking and punting standpoint. So I think add that all up, it's a push. So across the board, Green Bay certainly has the overall edge. They're favored for a reason. They've owned this team. It's up to the Bears to change that narrative. And coming up next, we will get to my 5 keys to victory for the Chicago Bears. But do want to show some love to our sponsor, Prize Picks, which is available in more than 30 states. 10 million users and counting are playing Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in North America. Get signed up right now at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a $50 bonus once you just play for $5. So sign up, create an account, put $5 into your account, play with the $5 entry. Doesn't matter if you win or lose because they're going to put an additional $50 into your account, which is awesome. The way it works is simple. You pick 2 or more players as long as it's 2 players on different teams, regardless of sport. You can cross over your sports and your entries and just choose more or less on the stats projections they provide for you. For example, DJ Moore, 42.5 receiving yards. I'm going to take the more on that one, pun intended. I think he gets back on track with a good game this week. I like Jordan Love to throw at least 1 interception. He has 10 so far this year, despite missing a couple of games. 5 to win, just less than 15, because you see that little green goblin there for Jordan Love. That's an indication that it's a little easier to hit. If there's a red demon there, those are tougher to hit. So if you hit those, you get a little bit more payout on your entries. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Get signed up today. Get that $50 bonus into your account once you play for just $5. Pick more, pick less. It's PrizePicks. Link and promo code in the comments and description of this video. All right, Bears keys to victory. Number 1, we've talked about it, but I'll be a little more specific. I think you got to take an early lead. I don't think it's just you got to move the ball, start well offensively. You got to take a lead, and ideally a 7 or 10-point lead, and put the pressure on the Packers because, 1, you have not had a lead since the play before the Hail Mary in Washington. Kind of hard to believe. You've gone 2 full games without, not even a 3-0 lead, not even a 7-3 lead, nothing. You have not had a lead in over 2 games. So I just think from a mental standpoint, and just also from the mental side of things, you have week after week this year not started out well. New offensive coordinator, maybe that gives you a spark. Maybe the script is better and you find the end zone and just get some energy back into the team because you keep falling behind and you've lost 3 in a row. You could just fold. Like, who's more likely to fold out of these 2 teams if they get down early? The Packers or the Bears? I think we all know it's the Bears. So I think getting out to an early lead is vital, especially in this game. So hopefully they're able to do that. Because if not, like say they get down 10-0, it could get ugly and it could get ugly fast. So I think an early start and an early lead is absolutely critical. Number 2, have Caleb be a playmaker. We talked about this. Thomas Brown, encourage him to be himself, to be willing to evade the pocket. Not on every play, obviously. Got to play within structure, deliver the football on time. But key moments, key downs, when plays break down, go be what made you special at USC. And that's making plays on the run, whether you're throwing or scrambling. We know he looks to throw the football, where that was a key difference comparing him to Justin Fields. When Fields took off, he was always looking to run, which nothing wrong with that. But Caleb does a good job of keeping his eyes downfield. But recently he's been doing that, but only in the pocket. Like he's been stubborn and staying in the pocket. Like it's almost like he's trying to make a point like, hey, I can just live in the pocket in this league. And look, obviously we want him to get to that point. Ideally, he'd never have to scramble, but that's not the NFL. I mean, look across the league these days. Other than like Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins, all the top guys move. All the top guys keep plays alive and get out of the pocket and make plays. Now, the Mahomes, the Allens of the world, they win in the pocket consistently, but it took them a while to get there. That's okay. Caleb doesn't have to be there right now. He's got to win there some, otherwise you're not going to survive, but he can freelance and ad-lib more than he has been, especially during this 3-game losing streak. What do you guys think? Will Caleb Williams get back on track and bounce back this week? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm not even saying some great performance, but just at least throw a touchdown, look more comfortable. Yes or no? What say you? Got to get pressure on Jordan Love. And if you do, I think good things will happen because the numbers suggest it. The eye test suggests it. He's been a little erratic. Completion percentage is down. 10 picks despite only playing in 7 games. I mean, say what you want about Caleb. He's only thrown 5. I actually hope Caleb throws a pick because that means he's not being trigger shy. But Love, especially under pressure this year, he's had a couple Will Levis moments. I mean, there was that one against the Lions where he's getting sacked and he just flips it out. It's a pick 6. He had that one earlier this year where instead of taking a safety or just getting rid of the ball, he just kind of wailed it out and it was a pick 6 as well. Like he's got a lot of Favre in his game where he's good. He throws a lot of touchdowns, but he will give you chances at interceptions. So I think you got to get pressure on him and not let him, do that bouncy thing he does in the pocket and feel comfortable. So hopefully the Bears can dial up some pressure and find a way to get home. Excuse me. Make DJ Moore a focal point. I know he's been frustrated. I know there's been a lot of chatter around him. Does he hate Caleb? Do they not get along? I don't know what's true. I don't really care. I just need him to be better. I need him to be more productive. I need him to rise above the chaos. That's what you get when you get paid $27, $28 million per year. That's what you're paid to do. You got to be one of the top guys on this team, and he's got to hold some blame for the lack of productivity. And, oh, by the way, Xavier McKinney called him out. He said the dude walked out on his quarterback. I don't think I've ever seen that. You're supposed to be the guy, and you're just walking off the field. You're walking off the field on a rookie quarterback. And listen, regardless of did he hurt his ankle on the play, regardless of would it have been an ineligible receiver if he came back in, didn't want to confuse the quarterback and have an illegal touching penalty, whatever it is, that was not a good look. And it's been brewing seemingly all season between these two, mostly on DJ's end. He seems to be frustrated. Like, if you're not motivated after that quote, like, I don't know. I got to question some things. And DJ, historically in his career, has not been a diva type. So I'm still, giving him the benefit of the doubt here, but he's got to start showing more. Like, we need more out of this guy. So hopefully he goes out there and produces. And there's a reason I took more than 42.5 receiving yards. I think you got to get him a focal point and make him a focal point here. And then lastly, win the line of scrimmage. And I mean more so specifically in the run game on both sides. Now, it's going to be tough defensively without Andrew Billings to stop the run, but you at least got to slow down Josh Jacobs, who has had a revitalized season after struggling last year in Vegas. It's crazy how a good team and good offensive line and good offensive coach can get a player back on track. But DeAndre Swift, after a cold start to the season, has been one of your better players, not just on offense, but period, over the final or last 5 or 6 weeks. So I think Swift has got to be a guy that you feature a lot. And this Packers defensive line isn't exactly murderer's row. You should be able to run the ball some. So I think slowing down Jacobs and getting Swift going is going to be vital because you need to take pressure off Caleb Williams. And the easiest way to do that is you just run the ball and stick with it and have success with it. So hopefully the Bears can do that. Hopefully Jacobs doesn't run wild. Again, I don't expect to just shut him down, but you're going to have to slow him down. And if you do those things, then I think the Bears can at least have a chance in the end to win. Would I predict it? You're about to get to my prediction, but if those 5 things happen, you should at least enter the fourth quarter with an opportunity to win this game. All right, so there you have it. Packers at Bears. Bears looking to snap a 3-game losing streak and just, a 10-game losing streak to the Packers straight up. Haven't beaten them since 2018, so no time like the present. Get those score predictions in. Bears, Packers. Who wins and what is the final score going to be? Drop those predictions down in the comment section down below. And for me, I can't do it. Packers 27-16. I think the Bears will hang. I could see a good start offensively early on, but I can't pick them in this spot against this team. It's just I just can't do it. So Packers win 27-16. I hope I'm wrong, but history would suggest I'm not. All right, sub for Bears Dubs. Hopefully you guys join us Sunday and we all witness a big Bears victory. That would be amazing, and we'll be here for all of it regardless. So hit that subscribe button.
We actually have a great Thursday night football game tonight.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Eagles, Commanders.
Yeah. I feel like the primetime games haven't been as bad this year.
I would say a lot of them have been good, especially Thursday. Other than that Saints-Broncos, I think Amazon went to the NFL and was like, give us some good games. But now, you can't control how they're played out, but the matchups have just been better going in. Now, take some luck. We didn't know if Washington would be this good, but yeah, I mean, if Philly wins, they kind of take control of that division. They'd be a game and a half up. If Washington wins, they would leapfrog, be a half game up. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see who wins that game tonight. John T., gun to your head for the Packers game, Caleb or Bagent? Caleb. I'm not playing Bagent right now, guys. Like, it's like even if a futuristic genie told me you have a better chance to win this game with Bagent, I would still play Caleb. Like, you need him to play. You need him to work out of this funk. So it's not even a thought for me. Could that change in a month? I don't know. Right now, I'm not there. So that's just where I'm at. So, all right, that everybody?
That is everybody.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game tonight. Some college football Friday night, Saturday as well.
Yep.
Then we'll be in here. 108,000 subs equals we'll go live 90 minutes early. So ball's in your court, about 200 and change away. So get that many new subscribers by Sunday. We will rock and roll with you guys well before kickoff. We'll still be live by 10:45. So subscribe and join us then. Colin and I will be there. Bear down.